I am tempted to be humorous about it, say how much I'm looking forward to you going, but I think if I can be allowed to be serious for a short moment in time, you've worked for SWAT for 33, 34 years, and I'm pretty certain that I can say that we wouldn't be the company that we are without your input.
I think the thing that stands out about Mike is his drive, and for example, when we did SIS, it was a huge project to pull together what I remember as being different databases, spreadsheets, a real mishmash of records, and whereas I would perhaps get focused on, Mike, the diary doesn't work and you've not recorded consultancy days, he was actually holding the sales department, the accounts department, and just able to push that through despite all our concerns and make it into something really good. That kind of vision and drive has been a real feature of Mike's leadership. It's been really impressive.
Yeah, I think I've enjoyed it, particularly when he's been had a little bell in the room, he's ringing, and people are going in, and he's saying, "Oh, a cup of tea, please."
Oh, do you know, the thing I enjoy most about working with Mike is he really believes that working at SWAT should be fun. And he actually makes it fun.
Well, certainly working with Mike, there's never been a dull moment over the years, because there's always, you feel as though you've got things nicely balanced, with the routines, and then there's some new project that comes along. And it was always challenging, but then again, challenges are enjoyable, and that's what drives the company forward. So.
Hi Mike, I've never met a man more colour coordinated in my entire life. I miss your really good sense of humour, and you're very un-PC. I've never seen a man who opens his mouth and instantly so many people shout HR form.
I think the fact that Mike rules the place like a family, and everyone here is treated really well respected, no matter what position they hold in the company, and also the fact that basically any excuse for opening a bottle of champagne is there, so he's always happy to throw a party or celebrate success, which I think is brilliant.
Probably his inappropriate comments, which lead to the HR form shouts across the office.
Well, he is entertaining, and the fact that he brought us sherry is very good.
I think I found that no matter what the problem was, Mike could always sort the problem out with an Excel spreadsheet. I had no idea that this would be such an instrumental part of my life going forward, so thank you for that, Mike. My life is now run through an Excel spreadsheet, so thank you.
I would say how honest he is, which sometimes means engaging his mouth before his brain.
You could take some of that advice.
And I think at a very early stage in SWAT's development, I can remember you sitting down and saying to us all, in 10 years' time, I don't want to be running a company with only 40 clients and a 2-room office in Plymouth. And the reason we're the company we are today is because I think you took the whole idea by the scruff of its neck and really promoted it. And you were the one who made us grow. We've kind of been following on behind you. It's a little bit frightening now to find myself in the driving seat and just hoping that people are going to follow me as well. But I think you've done an excellent job. I've had great fun working with you over the years, and I hope you really enjoy your retirement.
What have I enjoyed most about working with Mike? In the short time I've been with SWAT, Mike has been so supportive. He has ears like an elephant. Let me explain what I mean. That he hears when you're on the phone and instantly identifies the uncertainty in your voice when talking with a client, and will take the time to advise and guide you so that you fully understand what the client meant and in a position to answer the query again with confidence.
I actually appreciate your honesty, your openness, and the fact you're always happy to help.
It's certainly good in a crisis.
He was good at organising them and creating them, definitely. I would agree with that. So yes.
I enjoy working with Mike because he always brings biscuits to meetings, and I'm always hungry. So yeah, that's one good thing about that.
And the other thing I've really enjoyed about working with Mike is he always takes the work really seriously, but he never ever takes himself seriously. He's always the first one to send himself up.
Cannot get the image of Popeye out of my mind. And every time I see you sometimes, when you get really enthusiastic about an idea, or we say let's do so and so, and you say yes, I'll do that this afternoon, I just get this image of Popeye.
Well, I've given that a lot of thought. I think it would be Speedy Gonzales. No, Mike's not as short as Speedy Gonzales, but he just does everything at 150 miles an hour. I wish I had half his energy, even though I'm half his age.
Hong Kong Phooey, I think that's obvious reasons, Mike in his karate outfit, but I can also imagine, because Hong Kong Phooey has a PA, little blonde lady, and I can imagine Sherry popping in and out of the filing cabinet every time he flies out the house in his karate suit.
Well, I think he'd be Buzz Lightyear. Not so much because for the sartorial side, but more, to infinity and beyond. Because that's where we normally went.
Well, I would say Jerry from Tom and Jerry, as obviously he loves his cheese and his grapes. And this isn't my one, this is Chris, by the way, said Mr. Burns from The Simpsons.
Yes, if I was going to put Mike in a cartoon, he would be Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. And he'd be Mr. Burns from The Simpsons because he's tall and he's skinny and he's not got a lot of hair. And he's built a successful business and he works with Adrian Gibbons, who looks a lot like Homer Simpson.
I don't know, I suppose the one that springs to mind, I guess, is Mr. Burns. Just because it's, well, it's his empire, I suppose, and he's running a place.
I think the first thing I thought personally was Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. It's not, I don't think it's to do with the hair, so it's definitely not the nose, but anyway, no, I'm sure your character's not like that at all. So.
And if he wasn't Mr. Burns, he would be the Brain from Pinky and the Brain, because you can just imagine him saying, or us lot saying, "What do you want to do this year, Mike?" And Mike saying, "Same as we do every year, SWAT, take over the world."
Pinky in the Brain. It's been done many times before, that comparison between Mike and Adrian, but I think it's apt.
So yeah, he'd be one of those two, except the Brain is kind of short and fat and Mike isn't, but Mr. Burns is tall and skinny, so somewhere between the two.
I couldn't think of a cartoon character, but I always think he looks a lot like Ron Howard, the director, or Richie Cunningham, as he used to be in Happy Days. So.
Roadrunner, because he's smarter and faster than most of us.
On a similar theme, I've got Yogi Bear, because he's smarter than the average bear, boo-boo.
The occasion when we went to the conference at Thurleston, and Ian Jarvis and I were sharing a room, and I think it was the night of Children in Need, and you threatened Ian and I with instant dismissal if we managed to finish the minibar in our room, and the next day we were very proud because the only drink left in our minibar was 2 cans of Diet Coke.
Well, Mike did tell me once that he managed to delete all the data in SIS when he was trying to prepare a copy of the database to send off to someone, but he forgot that the tables in the back end are actually linked tables, so he was deleting the data off the live database. Shouts across the office ensued, apparently.
I've got a little one, and that's where my little hamster comes into play. Years ago, Mike was selling raffle tickets, and I thought he said that the first prize was a golden hamster, and I thought, why on earth would anyone want to win a golden hamster? Turns out the first prize was a golden hamper. So anyway, a couple of days had passed, forgot all about it. Mike came in and went, Kate, guess what? You won first prize. I was like, no way! He went, yeah, a golden hamster!
I think the main funny story I've got is that one day, back when I'd been here about 3 or 4 months, I think, and the window cleaner came in, and I just hear Mike across the office shouting, "Yeah, if you go and see Greg over there in the corner," and I'm sort of sat there looking behind me thinking, who's he talking about?
I think the most funny one that everyone will remember is when he walked over to Gary's desk, called him Greg, carried on talking to him, and even Greg just... I'm calling him Greg now. I'm so used to calling him Greg now. He just carried on and agreeing with him, and he carried on calling him Greg, and then as he walked back to everybody, everyone was like, his name's Gary.
Mike's always interesting to talk to, and in those personal circumstances we have dealt with a number of issues, from me packing a rake to address snow on the drive to the Christmas party. He didn't like that so much, and I got a shovel for a Christmas present that year. Through to water coming through the ceiling of the flat, and Mike and I discussing what the tenants in the flat above were doing with their bathwater at that particular time.
Yeah, it's a challenge to find one that we can actually tell, isn't it?
All the funny stories I know about working with Mike are probably not repeatable on family viewing.
For me, I think the funniest thing is when he tried to tell a condom joke in a sales and marketing meeting. That went down like a lead balloon. Like it wasn't good. But then, usually his jokes are quite good, but you know, totally inappropriate, wrong time, wrong crowd.
I mean, I'm sure we could probably think of something. We can make something up.
I actually remember a time where I was arguing with him after I came back from holiday that people swam from Nigeria to Corfu. And it wasn't until later in the day that I just swallowed my pride to go in and say, apologies, I actually meant Albania.
And in terms of the things that he's had to put up with over the years, I was very grateful when he let me hit him. I don't know if you recall.
Yes, you didn't hit him hard enough, but so.
I can't remember whether I had boxing gloves or not. But
no, it was in a strategy meeting in London, and Richard was getting a bit stressed and irate, and he needed to release his frustrations. So Mike said, "Come on, hit me." It's a little bit like a 12-year-old girl trying to hit Mike Tyson, but I think Richard felt better afterwards.
Before I worked with Mike, before I was a member of SWAT UK staff, and I was at a Christmas party and we were playing Trivial Pursuit, and the answer on the card was wrong and I was right, and Mike disagreed with me, and the only way I could shut him up was to take his tie off, and it all got a bit out of hand after that.
We couldn't not mention the whole concept of the shed and Mike going there and inventing something. We don't know what it is.
Still, quite often we don't this day and age know what he did in there, but some of it
hopefully,
worked.
Hopefully he'll have a few more happy years to spend in a shed.
That could be a good leaving present.
Oh, there's a thought.
I'll whip round.
I'll get baking.
Mine would be stealing my yogurts. It's not really a funny story. It's an annoying story. He was adamant that this particular make of yogurt was his. However, when I went to the fridge to find that it disappeared, and he was arguing with me, before I knew it, Sherry came out of the door. "No, Mike, yours is the Weight Watcher one because you're on Slimming World." So then he said to me, "You can have the Weight Watchers, but instead of one, Rianne, you can have two because they're good for you." So, cheers.
I can remember when I came to SWAT for an interview, and Mike was interviewing me along with a gentleman called Rich Priest, who's now the MD of QuickBooks, and they were talking about the type of things that I would do if I was offered the job, and I said, well, my priority when I start will be to update the website because I think it looks very tired and dated. It's very difficult to find anything. So I'd really want to sort of pull that together pretty quickly. To which Mike said to me, "Oh, that's our brand new website. We launched it a month ago."
Well, there are a few. I mean, his jokes are certainly legendary. When I first started being responsible for courses, having to deal with complaints about Mike's sense of humour, there was a couple of complaints, and I never did get the whole joke. Something about the Statue of Liberty, and I don't know what the punchline was, but it caused a lot of upset at the time.
On a trip up to London once, Mike we'd missed the train because my car had broken down, so we missed the train. And Mike was driving up to London anyway, so he kindly gave himself and another colleague a lift up to London. And in the back of his car, he put on some music and he's like, "Oh, let's listen to a bit of Queen." I was like, "Okay, yeah, Queen's good." And he put on Fat Bottom Girls by Queen. And I never thought I'd be in a car with you, Mike, listening to Queen Fat Bottom Girls.
I really can't see you getting bored during your retirement, Mike. I know you've already taken on this role with the Truro Diocese Finance Committee, and I know how much you're involved in the church and how much you and Sherry are looking forward to travelling and visiting a lot of the places in the world that are of interest to you. I think if you ever do get bored, give me a ring and I'll find a little project for you in the office, all right? You can come back, maybe write a manual for us, or perhaps we can reinvent retirement maximiser would be the word that springs to mind.
I cannot imagine a bored Mike. I think a bored Mike would be extremely dangerous for Liskeard and the surrounding area, because I think something would go bang.
I doubt for a second he'll be bored, but if you are, come on in, bring some cake.
Well, clearly, if you see Mike in the office, he's always dressed in a very dapper way. So I could see him as a kind of fashion consultant for the older gentlemen. I think a bit like the Gok Wan of Cornwall. I think that could be Mike's new career.
I would suggest, in the very unlikely event that he is ever bored, that he goes to Sherry and asks her for something off her very long list of things that she's going to have him doing when he finally gives up working at SWAT UK.
I think he can go into the money laundering business because he kind of knows the tricks of the trade, so he gets himself a massive washing machine and tumble dryer. Off he goes. But if he doesn't enjoy doing that, I know Nick has got an opening where he lives because he's looking for someone to keep all the dirty badges off his land, so that could be an option.
I don't see Mike getting bored during retirement, especially with all the churchy things and being a granddad. And I also don't see Sherry letting him be idle.
I would say, obviously, with Sherry being running around after you for many years, that good old T-bell that I bought you for your Secret Santa may come in good use, because obviously you can pass it to Sherry and she can obviously ring the bell when she needs a tea.
Well, he can come back and help me with contracts. I know he likes helping me with those. Or he could come back and subcontract for us, because that seems to be the done thing these days.
Well, I was thinking, actually, if you do get bored, you could get a job. Or, and I know this is random, you could start your own business. You never know, you might be good at it.
And if gardening's your thing, then you're more than happy to come round and help with mine.
The other thing he could do, of course, is find an actual shed and go inside there, so you have something actual to emerge from, going, look what I've invented!
Yeah, Mike, 33 years, a long time in anybody's life. You've done a great job in building the company. We're all going to miss you. I'm going to sit here the day after you retire and just wonder how it's all going to work without you. I mean, I'm sure that we'll find our way forward. You've left us in great shape. We have a good company. We have great procedures. And I'm sure that we will go from strength to strength. But I think you should look back on what you've achieved and be proud about the company that you've created, and enjoy your retirement. Don't be a stranger.
Really, just doing the things you always wanted to do when you wanted to retire is not really the challenge. The challenge is actually going to be remembering what they are. Good luck and have a fantastic time.
Mike, you've been a fantastic second boss. Slightly daunting having the chairman as one of my direct reports, but at the same time, it's been great. I've learnt a lot from you. Thank you.
Well, I think wish Mike all the best. I'm sure he won't be busy, but he will be busy. He won't put his feet up, but he very much deserves some time with the family, with his grandkids, and with Sherry. And I'm very grateful for what he's taught me and for what he's done for the company over the last 33 years, but certainly the last 16 years. He's taught me a lot, and I'm grateful for that.
A pleasure to work with. Just such a super character. Mike, we will all miss you, I'm sure.
Okay, so retirement is a nice way for your company to say that you're getting too old to work. But on a serious note, Mike, I wish you all the luck in the world and enjoy being a grandpa.
I have known Mike for nearly 30 years, and I have photographs of Mike as a very young man with a lot more hair, coming to my children's christenings and very early birthday parties. I have worked with Mike since September 1994. And I have to say, in the 21 years I've worked with him, it has just been great fun. You have been the most amazing person to work with. Maddening, incredibly irritating, very encouraging, very supportive, always going somewhere and dragging the rest of us behind you.
It's been a pleasure to work with you for the last 9 years. I think you're a big part of the SWAT puzzle that will be greatly missed.
Well, good luck for the future and enjoy. Don't be too eager to relax though, because I'm sure the gardening and the grandkids can wear you out pretty quick.
Well, I think all I would say is enjoy your retirement, because you've worked very hard and you deserve it. So have a great time, and I'm sure there's lots of other challenges ahead that you'll enjoy.
Thank you for everything. Thank you for being kind and listening and taking time for all of us.
Mike, I think you've done a fantastic job at SWAT. You're a wonderful, inspirational man. Since I joined last September, everyone has been so accommodating and friendly towards me, and I think that is mainly due to the environment you have created. I wish you all the best, and you'll be sorely missed.
I'd like to say thank you, Mike, for all your help and support. I think you've been a fantastic mentor, not just to me, but I think to everyone in the company. I think, without your drive, I don't think we'd be where we are today. So thank you very much for that.
Right from the first time that I went to a champagne tasting reception to celebrate the acquisition of Pentagon many years ago, to the much more recent rooftop dinner in a restaurant in London where I agreed to join SWAT as a member of staff, food, wine and good food and wine seems to have been a feature. But Mike is much more than good food or wine. If you listen to him on the money laundering seminar, which is of course mandatory training when you first join the company, you will find that both his lecturing style on camera and live is fun, enjoyable and of course informative.
All in all, it has been a pleasure working with Mike, and I have personally learned a lot. And I do want to say, Mike, thank you for the belief you've shown in me over the years and the belief you've always had in this company. You're leaving behind a very exciting and rewarding place to work for the rest of us who are going to pick up the baton now and try to continue with this project that you've started. So thank you, Mike, and all the best for your retirement.